It's only been a day that we witnessed a piece of history in New York.
Way less than a day.
Just a few hours and it'll be a day. But moving away from the technicalities of it, it was a good day yesterday, the day where we saw Rohit Sharma and his company get the better of Pakistan from being no-hopers at the halfway stage to registering yet another, as we've now gotten used to saying, a famous victory against Pakistan, the lowest total that India have defended in a T20 international as well. 119 runs they managed to defend. And we are here to talk about what we saw yesterday. Joining us live from the Times Square is where I believe Nikhil is right now, is our man on the ground, who is one of those lucky people out there who witnessed the miracle in Melbourne and then saw a piece of magic in New York.
I thought you would find something rhyming. Miracle in Melbourne, so what should it be for New York?
Something with N and alliteration is what we're looking for.
An alliteration
Natak in New York. Something. What is it?
I did.
No hopers to winners in New York. No, it's too long.
It's too long.
I did enough scratching of the head for the TV show. I couldn't come up with something for that either. So just had to go with something that was just grammatically okay.
Okay, I have one. Miracle at MCG and a Bumrah special at NCG.
No, but we want something with
N, alliteration.
Yeah, we want something
Good
with
try,
N.
but not good enough.
Okay.
N is the main thing.
Melbourne.
See, miracle in Melbourne. So
Maybe our family members can help us with that.
night out in New York. That sounds like a whole different thing than cricket.
Yeah.
No.
No, I think we'll take some suggestions, guys. Let us know in the comments. We'll try and figure something out.
Yeah.
Maybe best one gets us, I don't know, shout out. We do that every day anyway, but sure.
No way in New York. No way in terms of what happened. I don't know. Yeah,
That could
something
work.
like that. But not that. I mean, has to be something better. Okay, maybe we'll spend time. Maybe subscriber base can help us.
Yeah.
But did you see the scenes that I witnessed? All I'll tell you is that in terms of the atmosphere, it was we all can have a personal favorite as to which is the better match. But in terms of the atmosphere, I think New York almost matched it. I agree the number of people in Melbourne, because I was there, close to 100,000, slightly less than 100,000 attended. There were 34,000 that watched the game in this makeshift stadium in New York. But the energy levels here were, almost at par, if not better, than what I witnessed in Melbourne. So kudos to everyone who turned up. And I also like there weren't too many verbals. There was mutual respect from both set of supporters, and that is also something that I did witness. But yeah, because if you saw a report on Sports Today, there were the dhols and the bhangra happening, and then the Pakistan fans also joined in, despite the fact that the team had lost, and they're like, we just need an excuse to dance. So how does it matter if they won or not? Dhols are playing, so we want to dance. So they got in. So that sort of respect, and people really had come to have a lot of fun, and all of them got their money's worth. By the way, the one complaint that most fans that I've met have had is in terms of the ticket pricing. A lot of them have paid $2,000. Yeah, $2,000 is about slightly more than 1.5 lakh rupees. Right?
Yeah,
upwards of that.
Upwards of 1,60,000. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,60,000, upwards of that for one ticket. And I met a couple that bought two, so that's about about 3,20,000, 3,30,000 odd. You could get a second-hand car for that much price, right? A good second-hand car in India for that much price, and that's the price you paid for one match. So I also know that certain tickets went for 40,000, and I think that's another area of concern. Something needs to be done about this ticketing, because genuine fans don't get it, and genuine fans really have to shell out big bucks from their pocket to just get to witness a game. I'm just happy that they got a game which was money's worth. It could very well have been a damn squib with the way India batted, and maybe Pakistan winning with 8 wickets in hand or something like that. would that have been worth it? Not quite. So I'm just happy that they got their money's worth. But yeah, something seriously needs to be done about this ticketing, because it can't go on like that. Genuine fans. I also, by the way, met a lot of fans at Times Square. Indians who stay in and around here, also tourists who would come here hoping that they might just, land a ticket or two. They did not, but they said they tried to, but at $1,500 or $2,000 really is not something that they could afford. So, yeah.
No, there was a story also, I remember hearing there's this Pakistani fan who sold his tractor to spend $3,000 on a ticket. Now imagine paying that much money to see your side bottle it like that.
I only blame him. I mean, he's a Pakistani fan. He should have accounted for that. Oh, it's all right selling a tractor, though. It's not all right for me. I would never do that. But it's okay. He's a fan. He wants to. All right that he did that. But even though he did sell his tractor, I'm sure he came prepared, because if he's a Pakistan fan, he knows expect the unexpected when it comes to Pakistan. Exactly what they did. They bottled it up. I mean, let's not mince any words. India were outstanding with their ball, but they weren't very great with the bat. But you'd have to say that Pakistan themselves played a major role in gifting India that win. Let's be honest. Yeah. No mincing of words. So that's how the cookie crumbled for them. Pressure got to them. Some glory shots. Infighting, all the things that we hear about the Pakistan team. I don't think they had the perfect build-up as well. On one occasion, Babar is your captain, you drop him, Shaheen Shah really comes as the captain. 3 months later, Babar comes back as captain. By the way, I don't know why he accepted it, shouldn't have. Then you lose that game to the USA. We also keep living in the past thinking, Pakistan teams, they can bounce back. Pakistan teams, they get dangerous when they are cornered tigers. I'm afraid this doesn't seem to be that kind of Pakistan team. Let's be honest about it. Yes, we've seen the previous Pakistan teams come together despite the infighting, despite them being in precarious positions during a tournament. This team doesn't have it in them. If you can't win this, chasing 120 on yes, not the easiest and the best of pitches, but not as bad as falling short of not being able to chase 120. If you can't chase it here, I don't think, and if you can't chase it with a start with 70 for 2, 40 needed of 49 deliveries, then I'm afraid you can't do it. What is it that their bowlers have to do for the batters to step up? By the way, also, I'm going to raise question marks about some of them. You are going to pin the blame on, let's say, Iftikhar, and I hear a lot about Fakhar Zaman, Imad Wasim. But honestly, did I expect them to win the game for Pakistan? I did not. We keep hearing of comparisons of Babar Azam is equal to Virat Kohli. Is he really equal to that? How many matches can you think of Babar Azam winning his team on crucial occasions? Virat Kohli, I can think of many matches when he's done that. How many can you think of Babar Azam having done that? Rizwan, also from that situation, an experienced player, you're picked as the captain. You needed to step up, do something for the team. Could he have done that on that night? If you're a Rohit Sharma, if you want to be compared with the Rohit Sharma, you want to be compared with Virat Kohli, you need to step up. I'm going to put the blame solely on a Babar Azam and Rizwan. Earlier, I used to be of the opinion that, sometimes Pakistani journalists, fans are a bit harsh on Babar. He's a good batter. But now I'm beginning to see, first big games, you need to step up, not stepping up. And that's not good enough. Why do you invest in experience? Because on certain days like these, it's experience that counts. The kind of batting that I saw from them did not show me signs of experience. So that is, I think, where Pakistan is. Now they're hoping against hope that they'll qualify again in that situation. We win all the games. On other occasions, I would have said, yeah, they'll win all. Now I don't even know if they can beat Ireland. I think that's their next game. In the form that they are, who knows if they can beat the Irish team. Even if they beat the Irish team, I think they have to hope for Ireland to beat USA. I don't know. Many ifs and buts. Funnier things have happened. Maybe they'll still qualify. But are they playing like a team that has played the final last time around, that played the semi-final before that? I'm afraid not. No.
See, it's the same team that made blunders last year as well. I still won't be surprised because they just so often end up having things go their way. and they end up reaching the final as well. When is it that Pakistan don't have that sense of chaos both inside the team and outside of it as well? Outside as well, we've seen a whole lot of drama happen. We've seen a change of leadership. We've seen a change of board members. We've seen so much happen. The same things were happening last year at the Asia Cup, World Cup, all of that as well. So every 6 months they are playing a little Royal Rumble of their.
I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Can you see that? What is that? And I think it's very apt. You can see Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Can you see them behind me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Now we do.
that's what,
Yeah.
That's what I'll call the Pakistan team. They're a Mickey Mouse team. Honestly, the way they're playing, they're a Mickey Mouse team. I just saw that and I just had to, put that in. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, yes, they may not look like a formidable team right now, but I'll just say that, this is exactly how they looked in 2023, 2022. Every time you look at Pakistan, very seldom it is, very rare is it that Pakistan going to a tournament looking as the team to watch out. It's always in India, always in England, always in Australia talk about. They somehow, walk gingerly to begin with, and for all you know, there comes a time they get some favors done here and then, and their whole campaign sort of props up. So nothing new as far as Pakistan are concerned, and I won't be surprised if for the any time we see a Kudrat Ka Nizam, nth version of it happen as well, and they somehow make it to the semi-finals yet again.
But see, it didn't happen in 23. In 23, they had a poor start to the tournament, and then it kind of sustained. They didn't have a good tournament at all, but that's just the nature of how Pakistan cricket is, that you thought that would be a tipping point. You're looking and you're like, okay, now they've probably realized that what they were trying is not working. Then a regime, that's what they did. They pretty much got rid of the selectors, the captains changed across formats, and then that top regime changed. So what was the first thing they do? They reverted type. Now you've got the current PCB chairman, Mohsin Naqvi, saying that I thought this team only needed minor surgery, but they need major surgery. Wow.
Transplant.
Yeah, now he realizes it. Thanks.
But yeah, I think there's one more point that came to light when I think Babar Azam spoke during his post-match presentation, that he specifically relied on the top order to get the job done, because he said that in the power play, even though we lost just one wicket, we weren't really able to accelerate, and that was, according to Babar Azam, was one of the most important moments of the game for him.
Babar has to ask that question to himself. Now he's the top order.
Exactly.
He needs to ask himself that question.
And then maybe, if he's specifically talking about the top order, then there is not much confidence that he has on the lower or the middle order batters to get the job done, and probably that's why he made that comment of maybe that's what I am reading in between the lines.
But see, that's the problem also when it comes to Pakistan, and specifically these two openers, that is Rizwan and Babar, or as they're sometimes coined, Rizbar.
Yes.
Yeah, the Rizbar duo, as it were. Is it a case of what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Are they players who are dependable but low impact, who then ensure that their middle order doesn't get enough opportunities to get big runs? Or are they playing that way because they're afraid of their middle order not getting runs? For me personally, I think it's the former. But at this point, it's become such a situation that, it's been going on for so long that it's impossible to pinpoint which is which. Because sometimes you see that middle order and you're like, I don't mind too much if these guys bat a little conservatively. It's a bit like the SRH conundrum and David Warner and Dhawan were the openers. Is that you'd look at the middle order and go, doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. But if you give them some game time, that's the only way they're going to actually win you games. These guys will bat 10, 11 overs and get you 100 or 100 runs. But after that, then the rest of these guys are having to accelerate with lesser balls. And that's a problem.
That's point number one, and well taken. The other thing the other reason why I see them batting the way that they are right now, because for a couple of matches now, where do you see their batting end? Number 7. So a couple of those batters in the middle order as well, and maybe it's trickling even though they say things trickle down, but things are trickling upwards as far as Pakistan are concerned, which is also baffling. It defines logic, and
just like the Pakistan team.
Yeah, because see, maybe then the top two are playing in a way, okay, we are a batter short as well. So firstly that, second, we don't rely on the others that are to follow after us, because we don't know what to get from a Fakhar Zaman. We don't know how an Iftikhar would perform. Imagine in the top 7 also they are counting somebody like a Shadab who has been reduced to a batter now. So plenty of thinking that Pakistan need to do, because you're not bowling him. When he's bowling in that too, let's say against sides like the USA, he concedes at an economy of 9. So that's the kind of poor form that he's in. You know that he's been taken to the cleaners and been targeted a few times already in the past. So even and he manages to be, by the way, one of those players that has that is part of the revert to type thing that they've done now, because so much has been said about Shadab Khan that you look at other teams, they have got better all-rounders, this and that. You compare the others with the Shadab, it's not like he spins the ball a long way. Batting as well, he doesn't offer you much. You look at the comparison. Let's say the only other player the Indian team has was compared to the skill set. You've got in fact two, an Akshar and a Jadeja. An Akshar and Jadeja far better than a Shadab. And India then with Akshar then bat till number 8. So multiple things going wrong for Pakistan over there.
But then, which brings me to a question for all of you, is that now that Pakistan are all but out of the competition, they still have 2 games left, really need to win both of them by big margin, and hope that USA also lose their remaining 2 games. Would Pakistan experiment with the 11? And with that said, would they really change their opening combination? So let's say Fakhar Zaman, who averages close to 30 at number 4 and has a brilliant strike rate of 160 plus, would he be shifted up the order to open alongside, say, with Usman Khan or Sam Ayub, with Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan shifting down the order?
See, Saeem, they were anywhere. I think the talk was on that Saeem could be looked at in this India game as well, but they didn't trust him to open for the India game. Maybe they went in with the experience of a Rizwan Babar. And in many ways, I see parallels being drawn between India and Pakistan when it comes to such batting, because we've been critical. I don't know how Pakistan looks at it, but we've been critical of the kind of batting that we've seen from some of the Indian batters as well, and we've expected them to then up the ante. Pakistan also, they've got those batters that play the way that some of the Indian batters do, but with India you've seen a change. At least it's being talked about and it's being executed as well on some counts.
Yes.
It's because of that approach, by the way, that India ended up with 119. If India had played like Pakistan wanted to play, then India would have actually finished with 150, 160 run total, which they were well on course to get at the 11th, 12th over mark. But Pakistan didn't do their bit as well properly. Whatever they're good at doing, they didn't do that bit as well properly. We've spoken about these players time and time again, that the ODI format is what suits the best to a couple of these batters. Yesterday was all about applying that particular mindset, was applying that particular skill set. It was a win for the taking and you botched up.
Badly. But coming back to Siddharth, you go first, Nikhil. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I'm saying, coming back to Siddharth's question, will they change or will they experiment? In an ideal world, they maybe should, because there's not really a lot to lose. There isn't. That's the thing. Yeah. Will they though? I doubt. I think one thing which I've noticed with a lot of, and this is a very South Asian sort of a mentality, is that when things are going wrong, rather than try and change things around, either you'll change things around so badly that you're like, listen, it's unrecognizable. Think what India did against New Zealand in 21. Or you'll double down and stick to type, which I think they're going to do. So I think they'll just tell these guys, listen, you need to stop, maybe not worry so much about the lower order, because the next 2 games you have are, correct me if I'm wrong, Ireland and Canada, because they've lost to US and they've lost to India. So they have to say, listen, just go for it, because at this point you really have nothing to lose. Will they change much? I highly doubt.
Yeah. Before you come in, Nikhil, Shivam Garg has a comment for you. He says, Nick sir, please do visit the M3M store in the corner of Times Square. It's awesome. Also, Vikas Khanna restaurant, Junoon, happens to be there as well. So please take note, Nikhil.
See, I am a poor guy. I don't think I can go to Vikas Khanna's restaurant. But I have a very rich man with me. His name is Vikrant Gupta. So if he has enough dollars in his credit card, then I will go to the Vikas Khanna restaurant. M3M store, I don't know what that is about, but the candies, right, or whatever you call them, the toffees or whatever. If that's the store that he's talking about, then I'll try and visit. It's very close to me. But I want to get back to the cricket. I don't want to focus on the Pakistan team. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm underestimating them by saying that they are not good enough to make it to the next round. Maybe Harshit is more bullish. Maybe Harshit is right. Maybe they still come back and qualify for the next round. Whatever that happens, I'm not sure which one of us is right. But I'll never go so far as to give anybody 0% chance. I will avoid doing that. So, there's never a 0%. 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever percent I will still give. So I want to, more than the Pakistan.
Nikhil,
Yeah.
I like how there's a little bit of Hyderabad and New York as well.
Yes. There is 100%.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I wanted to focus more on the Indian batting order, and I think that is also, see, usually what happens, and I think India will count themselves very lucky. Usually what happens, you have to lose a game to fix something, and the Indian team, had they had convincing wins, would not fix a few issues. I think why they are lucky is the fact that they've won a game, but it is still allowing them opportunities to see those problem areas. So you have to keep winning like they kept doing in the 50-over World Cup, right? Those problems didn't creep up, and on the big day you lost. I think this Pakistan game, blessing in disguise, because you have seen a few weak areas which you can now tweak, and luckily you didn't even have to drop points to be in that situation to figure out what those weak areas are. So you've had the best of both worlds. You've had your cake and you've eaten it too. So you've figured out your weak areas, plus you haven't dropped points. So that is something that India can look at in terms of what has happened. And one of the weak areas for India, you'd have to say two, I would point out, and then have to really think about it. One is the batting approach. As much as we've spoken about be aggressive, fearless, all that is fine. On this pitch, you can't do that. Yes, you won, but primarily because of your bowlers, not because how you batted. If you had got 150, and Rohit Sharma also accepted that at the end of the game, if you had got 150, this was game, set, match for India. You didn't have to rely on Pakistan to lose the game. You would have won the game. Pakistan would have anyway panicked. You wouldn't have. Why I say that is, reverse the situation. You get 119, and you have Australia that you're playing against, or in England, for that matter. I'm saying even a West Indies, even in Afghanistan, they wouldn't have botched up this chase. On that pitch, 120, any of these teams would have chased. Would you then want to be in a situation like this, continue with this approach and risk losing an important game? I don't think so. You'll have to respect conditions. That's something that the team should have a conversation, and this particular game will allow them to do that. Secondly, in their batting order, I think Shivam Dube, and nothing against him, I think he's a good batter. You picked him. I'm not going back to the whole Rinku Singh Shivam Dube thing because we discussed it ad nauseum for a very long time. All I'm saying is you got him. These may not be the right pitches for him. So figure out a way to get that one batter. So you're effectively playing one batter less with Dube on these pitches. So I suggest bring a Sanju Samson either as a pure batter. That might change a few things. If you don't want to do that, bring a Yashasvi. Let him open, push everyone down the batting order so that then you're not batting one order less. I'm not saying that Dube's tournament's done. I think he'll come into play when you play on those truer surface, maybe in Barbados, maybe in St. Lucia. But right now, I think if you want to play your best team, having said that, maybe the Indian team might say, okay, we won this crucial game. Now, even in these tricky pitches, we are playing USA, we're playing Canada, we could still afford to go with a Dube. That's not going to harm us much. Maybe it will allow him to get some form. And then by that time we reach Barbados, we'll anyway need a Dube, a St. Lucia and need a Dube. So might as well continue. That's the other approach India might have. I don't know what you guys make of it.
Yeah, I'd go with the same approach as well, because see, the time that the decision to bring Dube in, or rather name him in the squad, was made, and then of course during the course of the warm-up match that you saw when he bowled those overs as well, that was a signal strong enough for you to know that, see, he is definitely a part, or as far as the scheme of things are concerned, in the playing 11. The day that he bowled those 3 overs, you knew he was making it to the 11, and I don't quite see that changing inside just 2 matches. Yes, he's had a couple of poor outings, but the fact that he remains an option with the ball, point number 1. Point number 2, the toughest part perhaps is over, and we know that his strength, I was looking at his strike rate comparison as well, while his strike rate in comparison is much higher when he is facing spin bowlers, which goes up to 169. His strike rate against pace bowling is down to 145, which is good. You average it out, it is still in excess of 155. But having said that, since the worst is over, or since the two tough games are already done away with, Ireland and Pakistan were the two tough opponents you were looking at in this particular group. And because I know Shivam Dube, since he is such an aggressor, he is that X factor, that when on the spinning tracks in Barbados, in the Caribbean, I know, and this is why I had him. I had Yuzvendra Chahal with this long tail as well, these number of spinners as well, because I kept in mind the conditions in the Caribbean as well. So Shivam Dube was also part of that particular philosophy as well. Might I, in fact, this becomes an opportunity for me to show faith in him. Show him that yes, there is something that we see in you. There is something that we've been noticing in you for the last 2 years in the IPL. We know you can absolutely butcher spinners, and that is what we want you to do when we go to the Caribbean. These two games, take it easy. We know these are easy games for us. We're all but a short of victories, let's say. Don't diss the other teams, but India, when compared to the other two, you know who the heavyweight is, and 99 out of 100 times you're winning both, against both those teams as well. So on those counts, I back Shivam Dube. You get form in these two games because you're anyway playing there. I want you to get your form there.
See, I get your point, but I think also the main reason I'd want a Dube to play is because I'd expect him to offer me something with the ball. The thing though is that right now, with the way the pitches are, they're very spicy in New York, let's be frank. You've actually gone and taken a bit of a risk by playing all the three spacers that you have in the squad.
Yes.
Originally, the plan, I'm 110% sure, would have been to sit one of them out and use both Dube and Hardik. So Dube, you might have
even
given
the couple of spinners.
and
Kuldeep in the 11.
And Kuldeep with, say, an all-rounder, whether it be Jadeja, most likely to been him, or Akshar. But now I think they've realized that, listen boss, these pitches are very seam friendly. So rather than use part-timers, we'll include 3 proper seamers. In which case you're playing Dube as a pure batter, and truth be told, I'm not quite sure these pitches are his strength. Maybe having someone who's a little bit more technically sound, someone like a Samson, for these next 2 games won't hurt. And then when you come to the West Indies leg of things, you'll be able to use him as planned. Why?
But
do you
need a Samson to assure you of a win? You want a Samson for the game time as a player just because he's in the squad, or because you're not sure of a victory, which is why you want technically stronger players?
Both. Because yesterday, people are, again, it's papered over now nicely because the bowlers pulled a blinder. But do you think Dube would have escaped much criticism if, the game ended up going the other way? No, he wouldn't have, because he didn't, he's not looked convincing from the second half of the IPL. Hasn't bowled a ball because I don't think they quite frankly feel the need to do that, and that's fair. So you may very well actually, if you're going to play him as a pure batter, you may as well just play a Sanju, and that's okay. I'm not saying you can keep a horses for courses kind of an approach and say that, listen, once you get to West Indies, you'll have tricky pitches there which will stay low. There, someone with Dube's ability to bowl the way he does, the cutters, the changes of pace, might be very effective.
And that's where I feel if India are not going to use Dube as the bowler, then you might as well open with Yashasvi Jaiswal, and then you can have Kohli at 3, Pant at 4. Then obviously, one thing that Rohit Sharma has made it very clear in one of his earlier press conferences, that apart from the opening 2 slots, the remaining batters have to be flexible. So that's where I think if Kohli can bat at 3, then from 4 to 8, we can be as flexible as we want. You can have a Jadeja, coming in at number 4, then Pant can shift gear according to the situations. So that might not be a problem. The only goal that India should probably have is to make sure that you're not falling short on bowling options. You need at least 6 bowling options, so that, if a Jasprit Bumrah or an Arshdeep Singh is having an off day, that's when, or a Siraj, or even any of the spinners also, because Kuldeep at some point he's going to play as the tournament progresses, assuming that India qualify for the Super 8, which they will. So that's where I think you really need an extra bowler, and with currently Dube being a part of that, you're actually blessed with 7 options. But even if he's not there and you decide to go in with an extra spinner or an extra batter, I think it should be absolutely fine, because any which ways you are strengthening your batting and you are actually adding a batter either in Yashasvi Jaiswal or Sanju Samson, who is technically more sound than Dube, who can actually play the spin well too.
I am saying, if you have a switch, you can switch whoever. If you want to switch Dube, play Dube. The jury is out, whichever way you want to go about it. That I think is okay. If you were to stick with Dube or replace him, I'm fine either way. But on that point of India need to play 6 bowlers, I beg to differ. I would honestly, at this moment, if I want to play with my best bowling lineup, I'm swapping Jadeja for a Kuldeep Yadav. I'm bringing a Kuldeep Yadav in. I'm swapping a Jadeja. Akshar is doing the job for me with the bat. What that is doing is that it is allowing me to play with the best, bowling lineup with my 2 spinners and 4 fast bowlers. But I will also allow another batter to come in, whether it's a Yashasvi or a Samson, to compensate for that batting by removing a fast bowler. Hypothetically, I just letting you know, I take an Arshdeep out, I take a Jadeja out, I bring a Kuldeep Yadav in, okay? And instead of a fast bowler, that is Arshdeep, I bring a batter in. Now look at my batting lineup. I'm batting till number 8. Akshar Patel will come at number 8. At number 7 could be a Sanju Samson, okay? And my 5 bowlers, Hardik Pandya has been outstanding. So Hardik Pandya, my 2 fast bowlers, Siraj, Bumrah, and my 2 spinners in Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav. That's my team. I think that would be the best team. Trust my 5 bowlers. Trust my 5 bowlers. If on a given day, push comes to shove, 1 over here and there, I don't mind giving a Dube an over. He's been bowling a lot in the nets. If he's playing, I don't mind doing that. That would be my option. I wouldn't even mind giving, if Yashasvi is one of that batter coming in, him an over, or even Virat that over, I don't care. But 9 times out of 10, I'm relying on my 5 bowlers. My 5 bowlers are Kuldeep, Akshar Patel, and Hardik Pandya, and 2 fast bowlers. Bumrah 1, second you pick. That's my team. That was my team before the tournament started also.
Yeah.
That'd be India's best team.
Okay. No, I mean, see, that's the thing. At this point, one good thing you can say about India is they have options. Now, whether you want to revert a type, whether you want to actually, because again, with Dube, as Niti was pointing out, the jury is out. You can't really say for sure whether you want to stick with him, but it won't be a wrong call if you want to either. Because again, now you've got 2 games coming up against probably the weaker opposition in this group. What better time than now to give him a little bit of confidence and say, yeah, okay, fine, go for it. There's no pressure also. Yeah. But if you really want to actually get your all-round balance right, and if you're not using Dube as a bowler, I would not be very convinced with sticking with him. Then I'd want a batter, but pure batter.
By the way, what? Yeah.
So if you're going with 7 batters here, my only point is that if in a game India reduced to once again 30 odd for 3 after 4-5 overs, then the remaining batters are going to play with a very not so aggressive approach, which means a very conservative approach, and that's where I feel a number 8 batter gives you that, once again I'm saying, the psychological advantage that you can go for your shots. Yes, it did not happen against Pakistan. We did suffer a collapse from 89 for 3 to 119 all out, but in any of the Super 8 games or any of the games that will probably come at the business end of the tournament, that's where I feel an extra batter can probably be an advantage for you. And he can also possibly prove to be the difference between 180 and 200.
Yeah, I mean, there are different ways of looking at it. But yeah, I mean, 8 batting, I'm fine. If you don't want your batting to thin out, 8 batting, I'm fine. But 5 bowlers, I'll take. I mean, I guess the Indian team not going to make those many changes. We can discuss it because what will happen is you're qualifying easily for Super 8s. There and you reach a situation where I think at that point to make a lot of changes would not be possible for the Indian team unless they have a disaster start. You never know. But who knows? Also, pitches will play a role. There will be also situation where playing 3 spinners, by the way. I think that will change a lot of things. I guess Antigua could be that ground where you do that. By the way, before my time with you runs out, I don't think I have too many minutes left. I just wanted to pick your brains as to, quickly, if I can hear all of you, Melbourne versus New York. We could not come up with a good name. Which one do you prefer?
Well, interestingly, yesterday itself, the moment that we sort of lost the connection with you, and by the way, we had that poll out as well on Sports Today throughout the course of that long stream that we had yesterday. It was an even split, 50-50 with over 700 votes that we had. It was a 50-50 when we wanted to end the poll. So we decided we'll go around the room just to settle the debate, and for all five of us, including Shivam, who was over here in the room, we all went in with New York. Oh, my bad. Melbourne. So busy watching the New York visuals.
Sorry, lost you guys.
Yeah, even I lost track of what I was saying. But yeah, I was saying that, yesterday we put out the poll on Sports Today, and with over 700 votes that we had,
800.
Yeah. Shane says 800. It was an even split, 50-50 it was, for a poll that went on for good 60 odd minutes or so. So we decided for the five of us that, okay, we're going to try and settle it because it can't be left 50-50. All five of us, including Shivam, opted for Melbourne 2022.
Oh, that's interesting. I was lucky enough to be at the ground for both games. If you ask me, I'm also picking Melbourne, and my reasons for picking Melbourne would be because this game, while I think in terms of a turnaround, see, a lot of people pick Melbourne because, they prefer batting stars than bowlers. I'm not one of them. I, in fact, enjoy bowling stars when they come out, and that's why I love what Jasprit Bumrah and company did yesterday. And also, it was a low-scoring game. I enjoy that. I'm not the one for big sixes and fours all the time. There are a lot of people do. And so I agree why they're picking Melbourne. My reason for picking Melbourne is I think the biggest differentiator for me is that in that game in Melbourne, till the last ball, I did not know. In fact, the last 18 balls, you never knew where the game is going to go. Right? It kept changing. Here, by the time you reach the last 3 overs, 30 needed of the last 3 overs, I knew India had won. Because on this pitch, there was no way. Remember, boundaries were hard to come by. You were struggling to get 7 and over. How would you manage to get 10? On another T20 game, on a poor pitch, 30 of the last 3 overs, it would have been game on. In fact, I would have given the batting team the edge. Here, when you needed 30 in the last 3 overs, I knew game was done, dusted. Of course, well bowled by Siraj, Bumrah and Arshdeep the last 3 overs. But I knew the game was done. That game, nail biting every bit, whether it was Ashwin leaving that wide, whether it was that no ball that hit the stump, they ran, whether it was Virat sixes, absolutely every bit of those last 18 balls were box office. Here, I knew it. I'm sure, those watching and looking at the pitch closely would have known it. It was India's game. Last 3 overs, they were not going to chase it down. 30 runs, 3 overs wasn't going to be happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, the other way around. 30 runs, 3 overs. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I choose that Melbourne because हम पाकिस्तान से 10 विकेट से हार के आए थे, and that was
Okay. Shivam says that his pick was Melbourne over New York because the previous time we met Pakistan, we'd lost by 10 wickets.
Oh, yeah.
So, differing reasons.
Which is fair, but that's not a fair
He'll run out.
point to bring into the game, right? Like between the two games. I just want to... Yeah, the context is different, I agree. Maybe more pressure. And maybe this game less pressure for India. I agree on that front. But if I just purely look at not the context and the surround sound, just the game, that comparison.
Okay. So, Nikhil, do you have a few minutes left or are you running out of time?
only
That is dependent on my boss who's sitting there.
30 seconds is what he says. So go on, Sidji. 25 now.
I think it's a big question, so he can answer that later.
Yeah, we're done with him now. Anyhow, New York buzzing, with that victory even now, with what we saw
let's see
yesterday.
how much our family members are still buzzing. So there's plenty of swal for us to take. Shall we?
Yes, let's dive into the questions as we always do.
Sawal.
Sarat Chandra Yalamarthi is congratulating Nikhil and I believe the others as well for reaching 400k. Thank you so much, Sarat Chandra Yalamarthi. Shubham Gar's comment we've already taken. The other one.
Yeah.
He says 2023 World Cup was enough to debunk Virat Kohli versus Babar. VK is fag end finish crunch games for India. In fag end has finished crunch games for India. He says whereas Babar in his prime has failed badly.
Yeah, with Babar also there is a criticism now that he tends to disappear in the big games. He's less let's say elegant batter, approach question marks over strike rate, fails in big games. Are we talking about Babar Azam or are we talking about KL Rahul? It's the exact same player.
When we talked about Babar Azam not stepping up in those big occasions, I could only remember 2 of the instances where he actually stepped up in
One was
comparison
India.
to the multiple times where
Then
Virat
One
Kohli
was
has
India
done.
only.
India 2021.
One was India, Dubai 2021, and the other was the 100 against New Zealand in 2019 World Cup. When Pakistan really needed that win.
Yeah, but that was also young Babar
Yeah.
when the pressure of the world wasn't on him because he wasn't even close to the captaincy at that point. It was, of course, Sarfaraz.
Yeah, but there's no comparison, that's for sure.
Safi Bhai. What is it them and their nicknames? Babar is Bobsy.
Bobsy, yeah. Bobsy, yeah. And they were calling him the king.
No, to
Bobsy the king.
our guys are nicknamed Chiku.
But that's a ghar ka nickname. I don't know, maybe Bobsy. Anyway.
Doesn't look like or sound like ghar ka.
Not at all.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Scroll down. Shivam Dube was asking that what do you think of India's slam bang approach? Do you think they need a bit of a cautious approach on pitches like this? Sharan, to answer your question, yes, I think they do.
Absolutely.
But with 8 batters, I think they've decided that we can go slam bang and we have a good bowling lineup. So, I mean,
Yeah,
fair
and maybe
enough.
the consolidation bit, if need be, can be done by the lower middle order because you've got batting till 8 in the
Correct.
present shape that you have.
Correct. Shubham Garg says that Australia versus Scotland is last game of that group. Do you think Australia will ensure Scotland era remains above England? And no, Shubham. First off, that never happens. This is not, it's not a football manager type game where you can manage things like that. Not at all. Secondly, knowing Australia, they will go in there to win. It doesn't matter what England's net run rate is or what Scotland's net run rate is or what Timbuktu's net run rate is. They'll look to win.
He reminds me of the infamous disgrace of Gijon.
Yeah, exactly, and that is why you started, in fact, happening
Parallel matches.
Yeah, you'd have them parallel. So that is why you would, in fact, let's say, have this thing. Vansh Jain says that was disrespect to KL. I mean, fair. At least KL does have a few good Test match knocks as well. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. GGK says Sanju for Dube is a no-brainer now, only for GGK, our die-hard Sanju fan. That Sanju also bashes spin and is a more solid player and better fielder. I will agree with the better fielder part.
But spin bit.
No, I mean, in this year's IPL, Sanju was bashing spinners.
Times.
No, more than a couple of times. He had in fact, in the latter stages of the tournament, when he got out to a spinner, I'm forgetting who it was the first time he had been dismissed by a spinner. So he's actually been fairly good against spin. And the thing with Sanju, I don't mind is he'll not die wondering. He'll keep going for it.
Live by the sword, die by
Mayank Madan says that you need Rohit, Yashasvi / Samson. VK Pant, that's his best top 7 that he's made, where he said that you need either Yashasvi or a Samson with Virat playing at 3. You want to give Dube 2 more games though, just to make sure that he doesn't belong here. Oof. Big ups to Sports Today for 400k.
This comment actually reminds me of a certain renowned commentator's comment on Virat Kohli. 2011, let's just give him one more game to see if he belongs here or not.
And Priyanshu also says that people say Babar is not T20 materials. Can you tell what did he do in the ODI World Cup or in the Australia Test? Just doesn't score when is needed. True. That is absolutely correct. Let's see. Sarath says, should we encourage the Indian batting or criticize? Because how much ever we say it's new to us and them. So where should we stand? I think you need to. I don't mind them batting this way. In fact, it's a breath of fresh air to see an Indian team bat this aggressively. But you also need to keep the conditions in mind, and these are very alien conditions.
Yeah.
No one expected any kind of conditions to be like this, wherein it was so spicy that you just couldn't bat properly.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a one-off. That assuming India face such situations in the future games also, that's when I think India would change their style of game. They would not really play that slam bang cricket just because they have batting till number 8. I think even if they lose like 3 or 4 wickets at 80 or 90, then it's basically going to be singles, doubles and maybe boundary over.
Correct. Shivam Garg says the Australia 99 World Cup Oz knocked out West Indies by chasing down 140 in 45 overs. If Oz are winning the game, I don't see any problem. No, I agree. But again, very different times, and nowadays the kind of uproar you get. Also, is the current Australian team anything like the 1999 Australian team in terms of, that edge? Yeah, I don't think so. They may have the same ruthlessness when it comes to winning, but not in the, anything
They are
beyond
formidable but not unbeatable.
Let's see. Okay. Dex says South Africa is a very physical team and that's the advantage they have over other teams. But Dex, this isn't football or rugby. So
is there something I'm misunderstanding here?
Yeah, I think I'm missing something, but I don't think it really matters. I should probably do
Maybe
that,
he's saying it in terms of South Africa having many 6-hitters in their playing 11.
They need to show their 6 hitting so far, although to be fair, de Kock's made a good start.
Yeah.
He's finally decided to play like Quinton de Kock. Freaking Awesome says that South Africa is the only top side never beaten by Bangladesh in T20s. Can they create history? Well, if they do, we'll be here breaking it down.
Yes, you know the destination.
Mayank Madan, by the way, is asking what's our build-up for the Copa and Euros. Mayank, you'll see it very soon.
And there are a few videos that are already up.
Yeah, well, but very few. We need to actually up the ante in that regard.
Yes, but cricket, we know the story.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Hanji.
We talked about Shivam Dube, and what about Surya Kumar Yadav? When will he play an inning which makes him X factor?
Shivam has a question. We'll try to answer that in case you also can answer it for us. Let us know in the comment section. His question is, when is it finally that Surya Kumar Yadav will finally end up proving as to why he's called the X Factor? He's been disappointed with him. I'll just add for context sake over here. Since the IPL, he's not been happy with Surya Kumar Yadav. So yeah, I personally, just to answer this question, I personally know what Surya Kumar Yadav can bring to the table. He's that X Factor. He's the kind of player, who you will have to put your faith in as much as Australia do with somebody like a Maxwell. He's, by the way, taking those two names in the same breath may not sound the right thing to do right now. Surya Kumar Yadav leaps and bounds ahead of him and not as woeful as Maxwell is in the current state and shape. But having said that, Surya Kumar Yadav, if there's one player who's really shown India that there is T20 cricket that can be played the way that it must be, or like how the others are playing, he's right up there. Even a Rohit and a Virat perhaps can take a feather out of his book as to how T20 cricket is to be played. He is the benchmark. I have no two doubts about that.
Exactly.
He always played those innings against Ireland.
But that's fine, Shivam. See, yes, I get your point. So he says, there are certain tracks that help him, certain oppositions, but that holds true for most batters as well. There are times you're going to find it. Why do you think yesterday most batters got holed out? Because you're used to hitting a certain in a certain range, certain line, certain surfaces you're used to, and the extra boundary, the length of the boundary really helped the bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah pointed that out as well. Anywhere else that Rohit Sharma's shot would have gone for a 6 and he wouldn't have been there. Perhaps even Hardik Pandya as well. These were shots that were hit on the longer side. Yes. So you never really know, and see.
When exactly that is, you don't know, but I think you'll keep the faith. If you could keep the faith in ODIs, you're
exactly. Did he not help? Even though you had lost all hope in him, but in that England match as well, was he the one? He was the one who scored those 40-odd instrumental runs as well, 49. In fact, the best that he managed in that ODI World Cup as well.
But I think if we have to, give an example of Surya Kumar Yadav's ability with the bat in T20s, I'll quote the India-South Africa Perth match in 2022. When everyone failed, he was the one who got going on that tough.
Unfortunately, no one remembers that knock because
it was a brilliant knock. I would
but in a losing effort, that's the problem.
1 or 2 innings.
And just watch any of his hundreds, and I'm talking about T20s. The guy has a couple of them. So you watch the one in New Zealand or the one here in India as well.
Scored a one in England also.
England as well, yes.
Also scored many.
I mean, no, Sky is
the time that he gets going, the day that he gets that surface, he's winning you the match much before you thought.
Will he? That was the real question. Last one before we wind up. Dhairya says that today's game pitch is really good. It's getting better. Game after game, maybe best for India USA. Yeah, could be. You could very well see. Today, you're not seeing those kind of demons really. It's not been banana swinging, and they've managed to actually kind of play through the line as well at times.
Has to be the other pitch as well.
Karthik K says Jaddu said that fielding is his top priority in T20s. No wonder he's not been performing with bat ball. Slam bang approach works for the Sanju Jaiswal, quality over quantity. I think you need both though. You can't just say quality over quantity because that's what India were doing in playing 7 batters. Never helped you. Anyhow.
Yep, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of The Dugout. As always, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, you know where to come, and we'll be tracking the South Africa versus Bangladesh match for you as well.
Yeah.
In case there are any updates, tap that bell so that you know when we go live. Thank you so much, Shivam as well, our dear producer, for helping us get to 400k. The next landmark, of course, is 500k. Help us get there as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye. Nandri.
Vanakkam,
Shubhratri.
Shabba
Shabba
Khair.
Khair.
Eat your vegetables and
Don't trouble your mother. Bye-bye.